If a peace accord is reached on Sudan's oil-rich Abyei region, an Ethiopian peacekeeping force will patrol the area. Officials from North and South Sudan agreed in principle late Monday to demilitarize the region. The two sides also tentatively agreed to withdraw all forces from the heavily militarized Abyei region before South Sudan's Independence Day on July 9th. The breakthrough comes after lengthy talks between Sudan's President Omar Hassan al-Bashir and the southern Sudanese leader Salva Kiir in Addis Ababa in Ethiopia. A major stumbling block in the meeting is the future administration of Abyei. Northern officials are insisting on equal representation of any administrative body, a demand the South is rejecting. U.S. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton is urging both sides to continue to work with the African Union toward a non-violent solution.
Recent developments along the border, particularly in the Abyei region, are deeply troubling. The parties must resolve the remaining CPA issues peacefully through negotiations, not violence.
Now, for more insight into Sudan's tentative peace agreement on Abyei, we are joined again by John Tanza, host of VOA radio program Sudan In Focus. John, thank you for joining us again today.
Welcome, and it's always good to be here.
Well, thank you. You know, there's a lot of excitement around this agreement, but it's being very clearly made that it is in principle, meaning that it's not quite, in stone yet.
Yeah.
Why so much excitement around it?
The reason why people are excited is because having an agreement is better than having nothing. And in a situation where everybody's tense, having some sort of a framework agreement in principle is a sign that there will be a peaceful resolution to what has been going on for almost a month now between the National Congress Party and the Sudan People's Liberation Movement. Now, this issue of demilitarizing the area, both sides have to pull out their troops from this region. Is that likely going to happen, the fact that even Mr. Bashir has agreed to this? It is going to happen because that's what is needed in Abyei right now, because the two forces are claiming ownership of the area. If you like, the two political sides are claiming ownership of the area. And for a peaceful resolution, it's important that we have a neutral force on the ground, so that when the neutral force is there, the two parties can take time off to discuss their differences and hopefully come to an amicable agreement. Now, obviously, everybody is wanting this upcoming Independence Day to proceed peacefully. Right. And a lot of these issues on Abyei will be tackled thereafter, including the referendum, the oil revenues in the Abyei region. What are we likely to expect in terms of the outcome of these discussions on those very critical points, which many attribute even to the sparking off of the violence that lasted so long? The outcome of the discussions surrounding Abyei, the border demarcation and the oil revenue are very sticky points for the two parties. I pity them, because the negotiations are going to be going on and on and on and on, because these are the issues that are right at the hearts of both Southern Sudanese and Northern Sudanese. There are some economic aspects to it. The South has all the oil reserves. The North has nothing. So if the South is going to split, and this is happening in July, the North is going to go into some sort of economic crisis. And it is high time for them to talk nicely so that they don't get into an economic sort of limbo. And the South needs the North, because the oil refineries are all in the North. Absolutely. If oil is going to be, if the exploration of oil is going to resume, then the mainstay, the economic mainstay of the South is going to be the oil. So they will need the North for the refineries in the North. Otherwise, they have no port, they have no place where they're going to export their oil. So ultimately, it's really a symbiotic relationship. These two have to work together. It's just a question of how they establish. How legitimate is the North's concern that it might not be equally represented in any body that is eventually going to discuss the Abyei resolution? And why does the South seem to be rejecting this call by the North? The North is calling for equal representation for their own reasons. And I guess they are doing that because they are thinking in terms of the Abyei referendum that's going to take place in future. The more people you have represented in the council, the better chances you stand to manipulate your way during the referendum. But also an equal chance to also make sure that you get a fair stake. Right. And the South is resisting it because they think this is a foul play. because they are thinking in terms of the population. We have the bigger population. How come you want us to share 50% sort of representation on the council? We have the biggest population. We deserve the biggest share. So that's the rationale behind the reasons.
Well, I know you'll be traveling to Juba, so hopefully you'll get some more updated information for us.
Yes.
Again, John Tanza of VOA's Sudan In Focus show right here on In Focus on Voice of America. Thank you so much, John.
You're welcome. It's always good to be here.
Well, it's always a pleasure. It's always a pleasure.